G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for the start of a new Let's Play series of Grim Dawn. This one will work nicely for brand new players, as it will work straight out of the box with whatever gear we find just lying around. So, a couple days back I put up a community note and asked you folks what kind of builds you would like to see. I had a few ideas of my own for builds, most of which were either dual wielding or pet builds of one flavor or another. And I was kind of expecting a lot of requests for tricksters and the like, but you guys seem really like you wanted to see some damage over time stuff. So I put up a poll, and the winner is a Ravenous Earth Vitality Caster. So, what even is Ravenous Earth, and what's a Vitality Caster? Well, Ravenous Earth is a Necromancer spell that creates a little volcano under the location you cast it on, and it spits out little boogers and throws them all over the screen. It does about half vitality and half poison damage. Each of the modifiers on the skill line adds an effect onto the base skill. The first one is Decay, and this gives you % vitality and poison damage, and it also applies a damage reduction effect onto any enemy's hit. The second modifier is called Foul Eruption, and it looks really good because it has Resistant Shred on it. But it kind of isn't, because this one only applies if the little boogers actually kill something, because it causes the dying enemy to pop like a blister and spray the other enemies with resistant shredding goop. Now this sounds great, but as I said, unfortunately it's not so good. It can't really be used on the enemies you want to actually use it for, because most bosses have very few friends when you fight them, and you need to kill something to apply this effect. So, I do want to point out here that I specified Vitality Caster here, because my god can Ravenous Earth do a lot of things. Basic Vitality damage? There's a set for that. Do you want to do Chaos damage? Well, there's a build for that. How about Aether damage? Yep, we've got a conduit for that. Want to do Fire damage? There's a set for that. How about acid damage? There's a build for that too. What about cold damage? Yep, there's a conduit for cold damage. And there are global conversions available for pretty much every other type as well. So maybe there's going to be a second character ran in tandem with this that may or may not get its own series, but I definitely want to try out some of those conversion options. And actually, while I was doing research for this particular build, I ran into the idea of a defiler using this build, and I may just run a second character either behind this, or I might just start another series. Anyway, for right now, we are not doing a defiler. So, quick rundown on Vitality Casters. They are one of the playstyles that are regularly recommended to new players, for their first characters especially, because they generally work with no gear or just whatever you find. They are very tanky, and they generally have more lifesteal than you can shake the Staff of Ratosh at. They also have one of the target farmable level 94 legendary sets, and it happens to be the one that's easiest and fastest to farm. They have fallen out of favor, I was going to say recently, but let's be honest, it's been several major patches now. They've fallen out of favor for more experienced players because their high levels of tank are just not needed for most of what the average player is going to face. And they do pay quite a penalty in DPS to get that tank. Most of the experienced players are not interested in high tank, low damage builds. They are interested in how fast can I clear Shattered Realm, how fast can I clear Crucible, how fast can I kill the Ravager, can I do it in under a minute? Vitality casters are not going to do those things. You can absolutely do those things, but you won't be doing it quickly. So, for all the downsides, I guess, of Vitality Casters, they are still quite effective, and they're still pretty good beginner builds. So, let's get started. Now, I'm going to call my character Naria. If you know, you know, and if you don't, Google. And a couple of things I want to point out at this point. I'm going to play on Veteran. Veteran here will give you a little bit extra bonus XP, and the monsters will have more health. Now, technically, it also makes the monsters harder because they live longer, so they get more attacks, and so you take more damage. They also live longer, so any bosses or heroes have more chance to do their special attacks, so maybe you might have to dodge the occasional arcane ball, And maybe Krieg will get to use his stomp 2 times instead of just once. So Veteran does make the game harder. A lot of what it does is just giving the monsters more health, but that it also does seem like it gives them more damage per hit as well. I can't confirm that, but however you want to categorize Veteran, I enjoy it and I find normal boring, so I'm going to play it. But this is an opinion thing. If you don't want to play Veteran, you can turn it off and you will get to the same place I am. You'll maybe have a little less XP, maybe you'll have a few less levels by the end of normal instead of Veteran. It doesn't matter. Play whatever you like. We're here to have fun. For me, Veteran is fun. For you, maybe not so much. No one's going to know if you're not playing on Veteran, and no one should care either. So pick whichever you want. If this is going to be your first hardcore character, I'd say turn it off. Otherwise, just do whatever makes you happy. Same deal with hardcore. I am going to be playing on hardcore. And I have to put this disclaimer at the start of all of my series now where I play on hardcore, because I've had a few people tell me that they lost their character and now they can't log in because it looks like a ghost. And that is because hardcore is basically permadeath. You can see that little pop-up there. Death is permanent. This is what happens in hardcore. There are almost no other differences. There's a couple of achievements, and there is one item that is hardcore only, and we will not be using that item. So if you don't want to risk your character permanently dying, as in it's gone, you can't even log in anymore, if you don't want to risk that, just turn hardcore off, or don't turn it on. Again, same deal with Veteran. No one's going to know that you're not playing hardcore, and nobody should care. So, that's my character, and let's go ahead and get into this. Now, I've said a couple of times that I think the best Vitality caster is a Ravenous Earth Ritualist. So, that's what we're going to be playing. And there's a little bit of a setup required before we get going. First thing, though, is we want to come up here next to this little fire thing. Actually, we'll do it without spinning the camera. If you come stand next to this, you can then click on this note, and you can pick it up a little bit early. So I got most of level 1 done, and I haven't even left town yet. You can, of course, also just spin your camera and do the same thing without having to walk halfway across the bridge. So if you're going to spin your camera, you stand here next to this little fire pit, you spin your camera, you click on the note, and your character will run over and pick it up. Okay. The other things I like to go through in the first episode is options menu and key binding. Now, the important ones here, if we scroll down, are... where's the health potions? Here we go. Energy potion and health potion. I have these bound to E and Q. They will show up here and here on your user interface. And I believe the defaults used to be 9 and 0. I can't remember what they are now. Someone will correct me down in the comments, as they do in every other series when I say I'm pretty sure they're 9 and 0. And it never is. So it's probably not 9 and 0, but whatever you have these on, go ahead and put them somewhere you know where they are and you can hit them easily. Then these 3 here. Interact here, I have on button number U, or button U. It's not a number. This one is really good if you happen to be trying to activate maybe a doorway. Maybe you're trying to leave an area, but there's too many monsters in the way and you can't click on the door because there's a whole bunch of werewolves or something standing in front of it. You can walk over next to it and press U, and it will activate the door and you're free. Same with maybe you're trying to open a treasure trove, but again, you can't click on it. There's too many cannibals in the way, and you can't get to it. You can walk over and press U, and the little box will pop up. You can spend your dynamite, and it'll open up, and you don't actually have to click on it. So this is very useful to have. I have it on U. Go ahead and put it somewhere where you know about it, and you can get to it easily. Pickup is another one that's really, really good. I have mine on R. Again, doesn't really matter where you put it, just have it somewhere. This is probably the most useful keybind in the game. Well, maybe second after Healing Potion. This allows you, or forces your character, to pick up whatever items you happen to be standing on. So if you have a pile of loot because you just killed some Uber boss and it's dropped you 20 million legendary items, instead of clicking on every single one of those items, you can just stand on top of the pile and spam the R key, and it'll pick them all up until you run out of items or you run out of inventory space. Next up is evade. Now this one, I know the default is spacebar. Again, put this anywhere you like, but make sure you know where it is because we will be evading attacks. This character is going to be a cooldown caster, and so we're going to be doing a little bit of running in between casting. There's more than just cast Ravenous Earth and run around until it's up again, but we will be needing to dodge Sunder attacks if nothing else. And then the other one that I like to point out at this point is toggle hide all items, open bracket, loot filter, close bracket. And depending on where you are in the world, I have this on either Z or Z. And this one basically turns all the loot off except for a couple of items. But this is, again, basically just used to clear the screen so I can see what's going on. I don't need to see that there are 7 pairs of white boots on the floor. I need to see that there's a circle of Aether Death on the floor that I'm standing in. So if you press Z, items hidden. If you then press Z, items are shown. So you can turn that on and off. Alright, with that said, let's go ahead and finally get over the bridge here. Oh, one last thing. This little orange triangle down here, you can see it's changing the size of the mini-map in the top corner. I like to have this as large as possible. You do you, turn it off, make it small, make it big, whatever you prefer. Don't forget to grab your yellow item from in the body at the end of the bridge there, and let's be on our way. Now, I like to get Hevel's Greatsword. Unfortunately, you can see it kind of over here. Unfortunately, that way is blocked, so we have to go around this way, which, I mean, that's perfectly fine. I want Hevel's Greatsword because we need a few levels before we can get Ravenous Earth online. And the easiest way to do it, I do this for pretty much every character, is level 1, get yourself a giant honkin' two-handed sword, and just go start swinging. Kill a couple of these, we'll get to level 2. There we go. And we're taking Necromancer. Now, unfortunately, the level 1 skills for Necromancer are pets, which is absolutely the best way to do this. The best way to level a Necromancer anything is to do skeletons for the first 30 levels. However, people are going to get very bored very quickly if all I do is run skeletons every time I play anything with Necromancer in it. Same reason why I don't just do Force Wave every single time when I play Soldier, although it's probably more than I should. Alright, so Necromancer, 3 points in the bar, and we're putting points into Spirit. We are a caster, we do need Spirit. We are doing magical damage. Spirit gives us damage, and it also helps with our energy and our energy regen. You will need Spirit. Okay, you are going to need a ton of energy to keep this spell up, and we're going to be casting other spells in between, making the energy drain even, well, worse is not the right word, but it's going to be a lot of energy we need. Alright, I see that white item. It's time to turn those off. So, yes, white items are better than having nothing in the slot. But I don't want to have to deal with white items. So I'm just going to hide them. And then I don't have to think about, do I pick this one up? Or do I leave it on the floor? Is it worth replacing what I already have? No, none of that. None of that, thank you very much. White items are garbage. They stay on the floor. I don't even want to think about them. We've now hit level 3, which means we get our first spell. So 2 points in the bar, and we are taking 1 point in Bone Harvest. Now, Bone Harvest is not amazing with 1 point. However, it does 120% of main hand damage, plus some piercing, plus some cold, plus some vitality. So it hits decently hard. So if we look at this, one swing does, let's say 70% of that zombie, versus we deleted this guy and killed the other one off. So Bone Harvest is going to be pretty good damage for us. And 1 point is probably all we'll put in that for a little while. Ooh, didn't quite delete him. Okay. This is probably a waste of time. Honestly, the loading screen is about the same amount of time as just running back. But running up there to get the lower crossing rift is a good idea, because now I can come over here. We can kill this particular rift scourge. We can bash the door in. We can rescue Faldus. And if you put your mouse just at the bottom of that top option, you can spam click and be on the send him back to town. And then we rift back to this rift gate, and we can go looking for Kyzogg. So I didn't pick up the quest to go and kill Kyzogg, mostly because I already know where he is. But generally speaking, I want to be level 5. Level 5 is 12 points, I think, if I'm mathsing correctly. Definitely don't want to do maths while you're recording. Not a good idea. But I'm pretty sure it's 12 points, because we get 4 level ups, and there are 3 skill points per level, so that makes sense. So 12 points, unfortunately, is not going to be enough to get us up to this point. But level 5 does get us access to component skills. So if you were so inclined, you could use a component skill. So for example, if I have one here, yep, Searing Ember there, requires player level 5, and if you put this onto a sword, which I'm not going to do now because then I wouldn't be able to use the sword, but if I did that, then I would be able to cast a fireball. 1 point in Spectral Binding gives us a little bit of Aether damage, a little bit of health, and some offensive ability, and it'll allow us to put points in Spectral Wrath later, and then 2 points in the bar. The flat Aether damage only applies to attacks that do weapon damage, which Bone Harvest is one of, and I think it's actually going to be the only one we have. But in a second, there we go. Alright, here. On tab number 2, we can have a look at Bone Harvest. You can see there 7 Aether damage. Now, that's because we're doing additional Aether damage, and because our weapon damage component of the damage on the spell is more than 100%, we get all of it. So we just added 7 additional damage onto our Bone Harvest. Alright, give me a pack here. There we go. And they all die. And we've hit level 5, which is beautiful. Now, at this point, we could use Chilled Steel here. This would give us 12% more cold damage, and also add some flat cold damage, which again would get added to our weapon attack, which would then get sucked into Bone Harvest, because Bone Harvest has 120% of main hand damage. We could do the same with the Searing Ember for fire damage, keeping in mind that Bone Harvest already does Pierce, Cold, Lightning, Vitality, and Aether damage. So actually Cracked Lodestone is the way to go for increasing the damage. Because this sword hits for lightning damage, not physical damage, and then has lightning bonuses on top of that, that's our biggest bang for our buck. I think we're probably good now in terms of things we can do. 4 skill points, it's all going into the bar here. We definitely want to get up to Ravenous Earth. Maybe not as soon as possible, but very, very quickly. So we are pretty much one-shotting these things now, which is nice, assuming we can hit the dang things. And the burial cave here, this is where Kyzogg lives. Now, I'm going to spin the camera, which I'm not going to make a habit of doing this. I don't generally like it. It messes with my navigation because apparently I'm stupid or something. When you're fighting Kyzogg here, you want to kill this rotting soldier before anything else. This guy will have an attack where he will charge at you. He gets a big white cloud around him, and he'll charge at you, do a big wind-up attack, and if it connects, it's going to delete a large chunk of your health bar. So he needs to die first. He also usually will have a shield, so he'll be potentially able to block a decent chunk of your damage. And then your next priority is to get rid of these green guys, because they're going to throw Aether grenades at you, these little things. And it's going to leave goop on the floor, and you never ever want to stand in the goop if you can avoid it. So if we just kill them as soon as they drag themselves out of the ground, then we can leisurely left-click Kyzogg down. Now, at the moment, we don't do a whole lot of life-stealing, but that will come. We are going to end up being a life-stealing and self-healing machine, but we're not there yet. Okay, we got the green boys out again. We're just going to bone harvest them, hit them once, and then down they go. Oh, apparently this guy dodged it. When you kill Kyzogg here, all of his friends that he's reanimated, they will all die as well. And he will drop, every single time, a Kyzogg's skull. This one does fire and aether damage. It's also going to give you a whole bunch of energy stuff, and we are not going to use that. Because Bone Harvest pulls your weapon damage into the actual spell, we do want to have a two-hander, at least for now. That will change later, but for now we want a two-hander for the extra damage. And these Aether Crystals are definitely worth getting as many as you can. You will use them for crafting, and you're probably going to want somewhere of the order of about 300 of them over your leveling journey. Alright, picked up a Novice Tunic there. That will definitely replace my white shirt. And the other thing we picked up is a Devotion Point. Now, pretty much universally, every single Vitality caster should get the bat first. You can probably make an argument for Sailor's Guide here for some movement speed, or for the Jackal here for total speed. I'm going to take the bat because Twin Fangs does a decent amount of damage, does have main hand damage, so you can life leech from it, but then it also does vitality damage, which gets multiplied by your percentage vitality damage increase, and then 20% of all of the damage it does is converted to health for you. So, in my opinion, it's the Vitality Tier 1 constellation, and I prefer to get it first. Like I said, you can make the argument for Sailor's Guide, or for Jackal, or for both, if you just want to run fast and get through it as fast as you can. And that's fine, you can do that. But I personally prefer to get the bat first. And that is a constellation that we can complete completely. I'd like to rephrase that, but I'm not going to. We can finish that constellation in Act 1 before we fight Wardenkrieg. Whereas if we go getting the Sailor's Guide and the Jackal first, then we will have run speed, which is really nice, and no damage procs when we go to fight Krieg. Alright, level 6. We are just going to put more points into the bar. Now I could put a point into Harvester of Death here. This would give us 20% more damage, would convert all the physical over to cold. It would, however, shorten the range, and I kind of want to keep the range. So we're just going to put more points into the bar, and then next level we will have Ravenous Earth. These little things are always good to hit with Bone Harvest because they'll die in one hit. Alright, next up we have Pharos the Rotted. Now, I am tempted to just... I've hit him, so he's locked in at level 7. I am tempted to just come back later and annihilate him at level 15 or something. But I guess we can kill him now. I'm going to kill off his friends first. It's just the kind of guy I am. Also, killing friends is, generally speaking, the correct answer, because you want to reduce the amount of damage you can take, and I can kill this entire health bar to reduce his damage, or I can kill his friends who are much squishier and will die much faster, and reduce the damage a little bit, but kind of a lot more faster, if that makes sense. Alright, I shouldn't be standing in the goop, but honestly, at this point, with infinite healing potions, it just... I could dodge it, but who cares? It's literally a case of I'm lazy and it doesn't matter. This green circle on the floor, though, I definitely want to get out of that. Okay, did I get anything fun here? Alright, 10 Spirit is really nice for damage. Currently, my helmet is giving me some energy regeneration, which I do like, but The 10 spirit will also give me some regen. It'll also give me some damage, and this one has more armor as well, so I'm going to chuck that on. This is the same belt that I've been looking at for a little while now. I think I'm going to use that as well. Those belts kind of don't matter. Alright, let's pop this chest. New jacket, maybe? Nah. Alright, so moving up the road here, through the old dump, we are going to head to the Whitemire Rift. But before we get there, we have some snakes to kill. Now, there is a quest very early on in leveling that... Let me just check that chest. Yep, that's a ton of armor, a decent amount of health. We will take that. There is a quest early on in leveling that requires a drop from these snakes. The blue ones specifically. These ones that are kind of brownish. We're not interested in them. They can't drop the quest item. These guys right here, the Deepmire Shaman, can drop the quest item. And so we want to get our hands on it. We need 3 of them for normal difficulty, another 3 for elite. I will almost certainly skip elite and go straight from veteran to ultimate. But you can kind of dip your toes into elite and do that quest. It's very early. And the ring is quite good. Looks like we're not going to get much in the way of, of Shaman here. Also note that I've been spamming the Lightning Nova. That came from this little component on the sword here. So if you get yourself a cracked lodestone here, that'll allow you to cast Lightning Nova. And also, I'm definitely still going to continue doing Spirit Dump at the moment. The Lightning Nova is a decent AoE. Less damage than Bone Harvest, but you can spam it. Alright, level 7. We now finally have a point in Ravenous Earth. So, we should probably put that on here, and I'm going to put Bone Harvest over here. Alright, so Ravenous Earth, when you first get it, I think you get 3 to 5. I was going to say it's only 3 fragments, but 3 to 5 fragments per cast. Let's cast the Booger Volcano, and you'll see what I mean. So it just spits out boogers, and at the moment, the damage is kind of ho-hum. There's no weapon damage on this, so this is considerably less damage than Bone Harvest. And Lightning Nova also has main hand damage, just a lot less of it. So we can cycle these through and burn these things down relatively quickly. You are definitely going to be burning a ton of energy at this point. But it gets things dead, which I guess is what we're after. You could also just use the Lightning Nova if that's something you wish to do. Ditch the other spells for now and just... Whoa! I forgot they explode. Well, not that I forgot, more that I wasn't thinking about it. This fight here can actually be a little bit rippy. You can get the fire guys explode when you kill them, and the other soldiers have their big wind-up attack that can just chunk your health bar. Alright, so that's the Whitemire Rift. We've got that. Let's head on down the road here to the, what's that? The east? Southeast? Something like that. Here we go. Here's the necklace. So I need 3 of these for normal difficulty to complete the quest, and then another further 3 for elite, and then another 3 for ultimate. They're pretty easy to farm, so I'm probably just going to get my 3 and then go turn the quest in, because the ring is quite nice, and I don't want to hold on to the quest for a super long time. Alright, will I get another one here? It's not looking good, is it? There you go. You get your own Booger Volcano. Enjoy. Coming up on level 8, I'm going to put every point I have at this point into the Ravenous Earth. I don't know if you can hear me spamming the keyboard here, but this is definitely destroying my my energy supply, and I've now got a potion. So I think we'll just hit it with the sword for a little bit. This particular zombie, Julius the Decayed, this is a quest zombie. Again, I didn't pick up the quest, but if I had the quest, it would be... he would be showing up on the map with a big gold star, and I would have a quest to kill him. Pharos the Rotted would already be checked off because we killed him earlier. And we would have, forget the guy's name, but there's another fire zombie a little bit up this road who we will kill when we get to him. Little bit low damage while starting out, although to be fair, this is a lightning zombie and we're mostly hitting him with lightning damage. So it's not really super surprising that he doesn't really seem to care. Alright, down he goes. And we got some new items to have a look at. This little body here, always, every single time you pop this, will have a bone like this. It's going to be called Carver's Conjuring Bone, and it's going to have a whole bunch of stuff on it that's really, really good. So we probably won't be able to use it until level 8, but let's pop it open here. Carver's Conjuring Bone. Now, I got the base item with no affixes. You can get a magic or a rare affix on this. So this could be a Carver's Conjuring Bone of Decay, which would be quite nice, because of Decay would give us some percentage vitality damage. Or it could be Wanderer's Carver's Conjuring Bone, which would be basically the same as this, because Wanderer's is health for pets. But there's affixes you can get on this. Let's go ahead and swap this in, because 4 health regeneration is more useful to me than 5% less damage from ethereals. Just having a look at some other gear. This tunic would be decent, but no. Impervious of the Boar. I think I just took that one off. And otherwise, I think we're okay. Now, at this point here, generally speaking, my inventory is full at this point. And I like to turn magic items off. Now, I see that I have empty slots here. I kind of just don't care. You can leave magic items on if that's something you would prefer to do. And you can fill out those slots. You can use the magic items for selling, so you have some more iron bits at the end, because we are going to be doing a decent amount of crafting at the end of Act 1. So definitely good to have more bits there. 1, 2, 3 into Ravenous Earth, 1 point into Spirit. And we're kind of at the point now where we can use Ravenous Earth as a main attack. So we've got the Booger Volcano, and it's actually killing things now, which is nice. You do want to be careful putting more points into the Booger Volcano than you can sustain. So the more points you put into the skill, the more fragments it does. So maybe in the next level, maybe the one after, this will go up to 4 to 5 fragments. And then it'll just go, I think, straight to you get 5 every single time, and then it'll be 5 or 6. And you end up doing that. I think at max level it's like 7 to 8 or something like that. So we can keep doing that, but every single time you put more skill points into it, it costs more energy to use the skill. So keep an eye on your energy use. If you find you're running out of energy all the time, you may want to put points into the mastery bar instead of into the spell. And there's nothing wrong with that either. It's perfectly fine. Alright, so here's Milton. I've kind of been dancing around him a little bit for a while now. That little white cloud and the fast running charge is what you want to avoid. His little breath attack there is kind of annoying, but this is where the damage comes from. This attack that he just did throws out those 3 shooting stars almost. That's not going to do a ton of damage, but it will slow you down, so you're more likely to get hit by the other attacks that he does. But there it is. See, I'm slow now. Eventually he'll die. He is unfortunately a soldier, which makes him tanky, and then he has the soldier's Menia's Will, I think it's called, which basically gives him a nice free heal when he gets low. And so I've got to kill him before that refreshes. Otherwise, he's going to heal himself again. There we go. Alright, the Milton's Cask. This is the best helmet in Act 1. for pretty much every build you'll ever make. So go ahead and hang on to that. It's definitely something you want to keep. I'm also going to start looking for a weapon that has vitality damage on it, because I do want to use Carver's Conjuring Bone here as well. So at this point, let's just duck back to town. We've got some conversation pie to eat. We've got some free skill points to get from Kasparov here, who we have to talk to after John Bourbon. He doesn't know about the quest yet, so we have to talk to Bourbon first. Now Kasparov knows that he wanted 4 of those crystals. So we'll give him the crystals, we'll agree to find his apprentice, and he's given us a free skill point, which I'm going to put into Spectral Wrath. So between Spectral Wrath and Ravenous Earth and the Mastery Bar, we're pretty much going to be necromancers for a little while. Okay, let's agree to kill the zombies that we've already killed 2/3 of. And we'll go in here. We've got some free XP just up this ramp, but here's Faldus, who we rescued probably half an hour ago now. It was one of the first things we did when we left town. Sybil Heart here will give you a nice amulet. So we'll go ahead and pop that on, because 10 regen is better than 4 regen most of the time. And then we can poke our heads up here and talk to Sedina. Now, I'm going to take that point out of Bone Harvest, because honestly I'd rather have it in Ravenous Earth at this point, and it's going to save me from having yet another spell to spam. It's probably not a horrible idea to have it, but we're about to go from a 2-hander to a 1-hander, so we're going to lose a decent amount of damage on it anyway. Alright, do a search for Decay here, and I'm looking for a 1-handed weapon that doesn't have stats I can't meet. But I want vitality % damage here. And honestly, I probably want a 1-hand weapon. Yeah, these are all 2-handers. This one would be okay, but I don't have 83 cunning. I will probably get it next level. And we could definitely just throw on a polished emerald. Yeah, let's do that. Alright. Go ahead and sell the rest of this stuff and be on our way. What was that 1-hander? Yeah, nope. Nope. Alright, I don't have any rings yet, so this polished emerald will have to go into... probably just chuck it on the chest for now. This is going to get trashed at some point. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Okay. So we're getting a decent amount of vitality and poison damage on this now, and we don't really have anything else to cast, which is not horrible. Alright, next step. We've killed Milton. We've got the fire zombie left over this way, so we'll go kill him. And there's another quest here that I don't normally do, but I don't have a pair of shoulders yet. And this quest will give me some XP and also a rare set of shoulders. Now, you don't need to get this quest. If you don't want to actually do the quest, you can still just go pick up the shoulders. But I'm going to do the quest. So we're down here in the Cultist's lair. And there's a decent amount of stuff to loot, in addition to a lore note, which... these lore notes are really cool. They basically set the vibe, I guess, of the game. A lot of how the game feels very grim. It comes from the lore notes. So definitely read them. Yes, I will agree to find your stuff and also loot this body. The lore notes are definitely worth reading. I'll leave this one up on the screen so anyone who wants to can pause it. This one tells you about the cultists attempting to summon a Harbinger, and later on you can actually find the Harbinger that they summoned. And you can fight it and kill it. You don't need to have that lore note in order to do it, but you need to have the lore note in order to sort of understand what it is you found. Okay. We've made it to the Foggy Bank Rift, and there's another devotion shrine just over here on the left. So we're going to go and grab that. There's also more of the snake people here, the Slith. Blue ones have got to die because they sometimes have necklaces that we're going to turn into rings. How do we go from big metal loop to smaller metal loop with 3 of them becoming 1? Not sure, but anyway, that's the thing that we're doing. And didn't get a single one. How unfortunate. Alright, let's poke our heads in here. And I was going to say I'll spend my skill points, but then all this mess showed up. The bugs here are decently resistant to vitality. So fortunately we do poison damage as well at the moment. That will change later, but by that point we will have some vitality resistant shredding. So we will be fine. We already have some, but more is going to be better. Alright, my energy bar is definitely being depleted, so I'm just going to put 1 point in Ravenous Earth, and then 1 point in Spectral Wrath, and 1 point in the bar. So every point you put into the bar is going to give you more spirit. It's going to give you basically better energy economy. Alright, Desecrated Shrine. These ones you have to do a little bit of a fight for. So let's go ahead and do the little fight. Last guy just doesn't want to get hit by the boogers. That's fine. I wouldn't want to either. Okay, devotion point number the 2nd gets us some vitality and bleeding damage. Now, we don't currently do bleeding damage. We will do a little bit of bleeding damage once we take Shaman, but not enough for us to be worried about getting bleeding damage percentage and bleeding resistance shredding or anything like that. So this is going to be a 100% vitality damage build. We will do other damage types, but we're just basically ignoring them. Alright. No necklace, unfortunately. How about in this one? Nope, no necklace at all. That's unfortunate, but that's fine. Okay, if you just keep heading to the west here, you'll find more snakes, obviously. But you will also find this little island that we're about to jump onto. Ooh, a necklace. Lovely. So this little island over here, you can see it kind of branches off the main area. I'm going to leave that totem alone for the moment. I'm not feeling strong enough that I want to risk instant death from savage totems. This is Isaac's stash. We have the quest here. It shows up as a big gold star. If you didn't have the quest, you don't get the XP. You will still get the loot. So I've got Isaac's Spaulders of Vicious Barbs. These ones, well, Isaac's Spaulders always come with retaliation. These ones have got all this other stuff as well. Devil's Mark is the gun. That's actually not horrible for level 14. Plus 4 to Hellhound is... that's pretty juicy. Okay, totems are a lot of loot and a lot of XP. But they're also kind of risky. So, you know what? I've got a lot of health. I'm going to give this a shot. So I'm going to, quote-unquote, pre-buff by putting a couple of these down. I'll throw the second one down, and now we pop it. Okay. We've got Eastmire Warriors. This is really bad. This guy right here, this herder, I think the herders have the nets. Fortunately, I've just leveled up. If you pop one of these savage totems and a mountain man or a mist man or whatever pops out of it, just run, just leave. Because if you get stuck in a net, you'll be dead before the net wears off. And you can't run away. I'm pretty sure they also will slow you down. This is kind of dangerous, and my damage is not good enough to justify it, so I'm just going to walk away. Trying to walk away, buddy. Go back to your hovel. There you go. Alright, level 10. We could absolutely take Shaman, get a couple points in Devouring Swarm. This has Vitality Resistant Shredding. This has attack damage converted to health. This is damage over time. This is a very good skill. But I want to get some more damage first. So I'm going to continue pumping these things. I'll probably do this until about level 20. I'll have maxed out Ravenous Earth. I'll have maxed out Spectral Wrath. And I'll probably be putting a few points into Decay. So that's the plan. Probably could go do that Savage Totem, but it's just going to take a ton of time. And it is decently risky, so I'm not going to. How are we doing for fragments now? We're up to 4 to 6. Okay. So yeah, rare shoulders, freely available for anyone who just walks over there. That's level 12. Yep. And I'm going to continue putting points into spirit. Early on, your health pool total can be carried by spectral binding. So if you notice that you're getting low on health, generally speaking, a low on health for me is whatever this number is times 100. If I'm kind of close to 1,000, I want more health. It's a little bit arbitrary. There's no hard and fast rule. It's just around about that point is where I'm starting to worry, you know, maybe I need a little bit more health. So I'm kind of okay for the moment, so I'm happy putting 1 point per level into the bar. I'm happy pumping up my main damage spell, and I'm happy getting resistance shredding on Spectral Wrath as well. Alright, we got a few of the blue guys here, so we'll throw down some booger volcanoes. And Deepmire Shaman, there he goes. Okay, do I have 3? Yeah, I've got all the things I need. Alright, so next rift we find, I'm going to go turn that quest in. And there just so happens to be a rift just on the other side of this door. So let's go ahead and poke our head in here. And there's our rift. So, let's go back to, not town, but back to the Whitemire here. And we're going to head to the west, and then a little bit north, but mostly west. And we will find a merchant on the map here. You see the bag shows up there. The roving merchant. That's where we're going. Basically, you just hug this left side of the wall here, and you'll end up on this little cliff overlooking the area below. And Torvin here has a quest. Will these necklaces suffice? Yes, they will. Thank you very much for the Slith Primal Ring. Now, this is an amazing leveling ring because, well, one, you can wear this pretty much as soon as you get it. 40 Spirit is an incredibly low requirement, and it doesn't have a level requirement. So you can pretty much have this as soon as you, or you can wear this as soon as you have it. 10% damage to Beastkin. The Deepmire warriors, the Slithia, they're all Beastkin. Anything that's a wolf, anything that's a bear, all of the beasts, basically, you just do 10% more damage to them. This also has energy regen, which is good because we will be needing that. And it has 3 resistances. The Slith Primal Ring is an incredibly good leveling ring, so having one of those is really, really good. Alright. Now, I have some white items left, the pants, I have some empty slots. Let's see if there's anything particularly good here. 4 gloves. Do you have magic gloves? We have Purging of Blood. Honestly, it's whatever. I am tempted to buy one of these cheap ones here, probably those. I'm just going to buy a white item for the armor value, just so if I do get hit in the hands, I don't take full damage. And what was the other thing I was looking at? Pants. Any magic pants that are worth buying? Probably not. These are probably good for the armor, but these are much cheaper for the armor. These are even cheaper again. I'm just going to buy those. Again, if you have a look at the armor over here, and I'm not going to explain the armor system just yet, but basically you can see on the head row there's a 15% chance to get hit in the head. My armor rating there is 56, and the armor absorption percentage is 70. So, turns out I am going to explain armor. If I get hit in the head, I will reduce the physical damage by 56, or up to 70%. So if I get hit for 100 damage, let's say I have 1,000,000 armor in my helmet, and I get hit for 100 damage, 30%, which is the remainder after the 70%, so 30% of that attack goes straight through my armor, and probably I die. But, well, actually it's 100 damage, so I don't die. But 30% of all physical damage goes straight through my armor, and then the remaining 70% is reduced by my armor rating. So, again, 100 damage on my helmet, I will take 30 damage, then I will reduce the remaining 70 by 56, and I will take an additional 14 damage for 44 total damage. So, that's kind of how armor works. Armor absorption is a stat that you can get components like these. You can craft components to increase it. And if you are a soldier, you can spend skill points later to reduce it again or to increase armor absorption. And then there are also the occasional prefix on your helmet. It's Overseers. That can reduce it again. Okay, let's just go back to town and turn in some quests here. And this is going to be the end of episode number 1. So, who have we got to do quests with? Oh, we didn't kill Negan. Okay. Let's go get Negan, and then we're going to end the episode. Where are we going? Foggy Bank, and we'll run backwards. So Negan is the fire zombie, and he's down here. Don't really need to come down here and kill him, but I want to get rid of the quest. It's just going to sit there and bother me for the entirety of normal difficulty if I don't. Alright, we don't yet leech a whole bunch of life, so I do need to keep an eye on my health bar. This fire circle around Negan does kind of hurt. Fortunately, it goes away pretty quickly. And as long as I stand in his face, he's not going to charge after me and do big wind-up attacks or anything like that. There's the Ring of Fire. I've got another health potion available. Down he goes. Alright, those gloves look juicy. Same armor, bunch of stats, increased armor, good resistances. Yes, thank you very much. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Oh, we missed the caravan driver as well. Jeez, I'm just missing everything. Okay, Foggy Bank. This section here is where the caravan driver would be. He could be here, he could be here. I've been to both of those locations, so I know he's over there. So I'm just going to go up that way. We'll rescue him, and then we'll call it an episode. See another totem there as well. Savage totems kind of scare me. At this point in the game, the best thing you can do if you have 4 or 5 heroes chasing you, usually the best thing you can do is just run away. Where am I going? Hang on a second. I lost caravan. Yeah, it should be right here. Maybe it's actually down here and I didn't explore far enough. Yeah, so it would be here, but he's not here, so... Clearly, I ran straight past him. There's probably a whole bunch of you who noticed it when it happened, have been screaming at the monitor. You missed it. Go back. Yeah, it's not here. It was the first spot, and I just didn't search enough. Alright, that's fine. We'll just go let him out. There's only 3 places he can be, so he's got to be down here. Yep, there he is. Beautiful. Alright, prisoner calls for help. Unfortunately, I'm busy slaying all of the beastkin, which I now do tons of extra damage to. Well, not these guys, these are apparently insects. Less armor, pet stuff, not interested. Okay, Luther Graves. The one thing you do want to do here is don't extort him. We want to just send him back to town. If you extort him, his prices will be higher for the rest of the game, so you don't want to do that. Alright, we'll go talk to him, which is the quest that I was probably thinking of earlier, and we'll talk to Harmond as well. So thank you, XP, reputation, good stuff. And Harmond here has another quest for us, but yeah, that's going to be the end of the first episode. Kind of excited about playing Ravenous Earth. I'm not sure why, but while I was doing the researching for the build, it's definitely a build I'm excited about playing. So you might be seeing a second Ravenous Earth caster in the near future, let's just say. No promises though. But anyway, that's the end of this episode, so thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye for now.